I hear God saying to someone today, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. You may get yourself all out of breath, all sweaty, hurting your head, over things that were not intended for you to hurt your head about it. But I hear God say today, wipe your sweat. Wipe it off. Wipe it completely off, Sometimes we hurt our head over things that is not necessary, Everything that we face or we encounter, in our life or pertaining to maybe our child or a friend or someone else, it's not for us to sweat it. It's not for us to hurt our head over it. But it's for us to put it all in God's hand, Sometimes we may think that we can handle a battle on our own for ourselves or for somebody else. But we personally, in and of ourselves, we can't change others. Only God can do that. And so if there's something that you've been hurting your head about today, you've been sweating it, pertaining to your child, pertaining to a friend, pertaining to, maybe someone close to you, don't sweat it. The best thing to do is go to God and pray about it, lift them up in prayer, intercede on their behalf, ask God to change them, ask God to make them whole, ask God to lead them in the right path, ask God to help them, to turn away, from the things that they may be doing that God is not pleased with, but don't sweat it, don't hurt your head about it, Give it all over to God, put it all in God's hands. He says, cast our burdens upon the Lord, but he shall sustain us. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. And so if there has been a burden, on your shoulder, on your back that you've been carrying because you've been sweating it for someone else, I say to you today, let that burden go today, Allow God to lift that heavy burden off of you today. God says, he pours out the garment of praise, for the spirit of heaviness, whenever you feel a heaviness, on yourself, maybe because you may be bearing another person's burden, you get in an atmosphere of worship, you get in an atmosphere of praise, that spirit of heaviness, maybe that spirit of depression and suppression that was weighing down on you, that it will be lifted, and you always remember that the word of God is power. The word of God is spirit and life. And he says the joy of the Lord is our strength. And so when you feel weak, always remember that Jesus is strong. Jesus is strong. And even in you maybe worrying, maybe about your daughter, maybe about your son, maybe about a friend, that have been going astray or going downhill, and you've been trying to fix it. You've been trying to fix it, God is saying to you today, let it go. Let it go. Let it go and let me do my work, let God do his work. What God does is well done, and the way that God moves and the way God fixes things in the lives of maybe our children or whoever it may be. It may not be the way that we may have intended for it to be, but God has ways of doing things, and his ways are not our ways, and his thoughts are not our thoughts, and his thoughts are perfect. And so I say to you today, put it all in God's hand. Let God deal with the matter. Don't sweat it.